Then you had better take the train home now." When he undertook the motions necessary to remove his evening clothes, he discovered that his muscles felt as if he were at the end of a long day of physical labor. His starched shirt was limp with sweat. There was neither thought nor feeling left in him, nothing but a sense that merged the remnants of both. The sense of congratulation upon the greatest victory he had ever demanded of himself. That Lillian had walked out of the hotel suite alive. Entering Reardon's office, Dr. Floyd Ferris wore the expression of a man so certain of the success of his quest that he could afford a benevolent smile. He spoke with a smooth, cheerful assurance. Reardon had the impression that it was the assurance of a card-sharp who has spent a prodigious effort in memorizing every possible variation of the pattern, and is now safe in the knowledge that every card in the deck is marked. "Well, Mr. Reardon," he said by way of greeting, "I didn't know that even a hardened hound of public functions and shaker of famous hands like myself could still get a thrill out of meeting an eminent man. But that's what I feel right now, believe it or not." "How do you do?" said Reardon. Dr. Ferris sat down and made a few remarks about the colors of the leaves in the month of October, as he had observed them by the roadside on his long drive from Washington, undertaken specifically for the purpose of meeting Mr. Reardon in person. Reardon said nothing. Dr. Ferris looked out the window and commented on the inspiring sight of the Reardon Mills, which he said were one of the most valuable productive enterprises in the country. "That is not what you thought of my product a year and a half ago," said Reardon. Dr. Ferris gave a brief frown, as if a dot of the pattern had slipped and almost cost him the game, then chuckled as if he had recaptured it. "That was a year and a half ago, Mr. Reardon," he said easily. "Times change, and people change with the times, the wise ones do. Wisdom lies in knowing when to remember and when to forget. Consistency is not a habit of mind, which it is wise to practice, or to expect of the human race." He then proceeded to discourse upon the foolishness of consistency in a world where nothing was absolute except the principle of compromise. He talked earnestly, but in a casual manner, as if both understood that this was not the main subject of their interview. Yet oddly, he spoke not in the tone of a foreword, but in the tone of a postscript, as if the main subject had been settled long ago. Reardon waited for the first, "Don't you think so?" and answered, "Please state the urgent matter for which you requested this appointment." Dr. Ferris looked astonished and blank for a moment, then said brightly, as if remembering an unimportant subject which could be disposed of without effort, "Oh, that? That was in regard to the dates of delivery of Reardon metal to the State Science Institute. We should like to have 5,000 tons by the 1st of December, and then we'll be quite agreeable to waiting for the balance of the order until after the 1st of the year." Reardon sat looking at him silently for a long time. Each passing moment had the effect of making the gay intonations of Dr. Ferris's voice, still hanging in the air of the room, seem more foolish. When Dr. Ferris had begun to dread that he would not answer at all, Reardon answered, "Hasn't the traffic cop with the leather leggings whom you sent here given you a report on his conversation with me?" "Why, yes, Mr. Reardon, but—" "What else do you want to hear?" "But that was 5 months ago, Mr. Reardon. A certain event has taken place since, which makes me quite sure that you have changed your mind, and that you will make no trouble for us at all, just as we will make no trouble for you." "What event?" "An event of which you have far greater knowledge than I. But you see I do have knowledge of it, even though you would much prefer me to have none." "What event?" "Since it is your secret, Mr. Reardon, why not let it remain a secret? Who doesn't have secrets nowadays? For instance, Project X is a secret. You realize, of course, that we could obtain your metal simply by having it purchased in smaller quantities by various government offices, who would then transfer it to us, and you would not be able to prevent it. But this would necessitate our letting a lot of lousy bureaucrats—" Dr. Ferris smiled with disarming frankness. "Oh, yes, we are as unpopular with one another as we are with you private citizens. It would necessitate our letting a lot of other bureaucrats in on the secret of Project X, which would be highly undesirable at this time, and so would any newspaper publicity about the project. If we put you on trial, for refusal to comply with the government order. But if you had to stand trial on another, much more serious charge, where Project X and the State Science Institute were not involved, and where you could not raise any issue of principle or arouse any public sympathy, why, that would not inconvenience us at all, but it would cost you more than you would care to contemplate. Therefore, the only practical thing for you to do is to help us keep our secret, and get us to help you keep yours. And, as I'm sure you realize, we are fully able to keep any of the bureaucrats safely off your trail for as long as we wish. What event, what secret, and what trail? Oh, come, Mr. Reardon, don't be childish. The 4,000 tons of Reardon metal which you delivered to Ken Danager, of course, said Dr. Ferris lightly.